You ever get screamed at by a grown woman in a designer blazer from the back of a police car, right in front of your own house? Because I have. You just ruined my life. That's what Diane Thornton shrieked at me, windows rolled down, her mascara halfway down her cheeks. All because I called the sheriff when her pristine white Lexus blocked my driveway for the third time in 2 weeks. And look, I wasn't trying to ruin anybody's life. I just had an emergency appointment at my clinic, and a golden retriever was fighting for his life. But Diane, she acted like I'd burned down her house. And here's the kicker. One phone call from me. Just a regular Wednesday morning, and Diane's whole carefully constructed kingdom of HOA terror crumbled before the whole neighborhood's eyes. I swear, I didn't mean to start a revolution. I just needed to get to work. Let me back up. It was early, 6:45 in the morning, and already I was late. Mrs. Henderson's Golden had gotten into a bag of dark chocolate, and the poor dog was in bad shape. I'm a vet, so you know, there's no such thing as a small emergency. 20 minutes can mean life or death. I grabbed my bag, hustled through the garage, and that's when I saw it. The white Lexus, parked dead across my driveway. Not close to, oh, you can squeeze around. No, blocking me in, bumper to garage door. I didn't even have to. Check the plates. Diane Thornton, our self-proclaimed queen, president of the HOA for 5 miserable years. The woman ran this place like a private fiefdom, wielding fines and bylaws like a broadsword. She fined my neighbor Meredith, a sweet old lady living off Social Security, $300 for the wrong shade of beige paint. Another couple? They got fined for mowing their lawn. Late, twice, because she didn't like the look of their grass. I'd heard she'd gotten into legal trouble with some other family, but nobody ever dared talk about it. Folks were scared. She'd built her reputation on intimidation, and, buddy, it worked. So here I am, clutching my vet bag, teeth grinding. First time she blocked me in, I waited 15 minutes while she strolled back. From who knows where. Didn't even apologize. Second time, I asked her nicely to please not park there. She gave me that tight-lipped smile, promised she'd try to remember. And now, round 3. I look across the street. There she is, pacing on the sidewalk, blazer, clipboard, HOA logo stamped on a bright orange folder, talking on her phone, ignoring me on purpose. I walked over, knocked on her car window, empty. I called out her name. She held up that just-a-minute finger, barely even glancing my way. I tried, one last time, to be polite. Diane, I need to get out. I've got an emergency. She barely covered her phone's mic. I'm working. I'll move it when I'm done. I'm late for an emergency. There's a dog that needs help. She waved me off, as if I was a fly, buzzing around her head. This is a public sidewalk. I have every right. You're not blocking the sidewalk. You're blocking my driveway, my property, I said, trying not to yell. She whips out a laminated sheet like a shield. Section 7.3.2. HOA board can access all common areas. The driveway isn't a common area, Diane. Neighbors started peeking out their windows. My watch ticked past 6:58, 30 minutes late now. And Mrs. Henderson's golden retriever. God, my stomach was in knots. I'd had enough. Pulled out my phone, called the sheriff's non-emergency line. Someone's blocking my driveway. I have a veterinary emergency. She refuses to move. The dispatcher was calm. We'll send someone out. Diane's head snapped up when she heard the word sheriff. Her phone call suddenly didn't matter anymore. She marched over, eyes blazing. You did not just call the police on me. I called because I need to get to work, and you're preventing that. I asked nicely. Her face changed. Something like fear flickered, just for a second. You didn't need to do that. I'll move the car right now. Too late, Diane. Deputies already on the way. I'd like an official report. She got in her Lexus, but instead of leaving, she sat there, on her phone, whispering, No, I can't just leave, it'll look worse. Does he know about it? I just stood there, thinking, know about what? 15 minutes later, the patrol car rolled up. Deputy Brennan, nice guy, calm, with that I've seen everything cop face. I explained. He nodded, then went over to Diane. Suddenly, she transformed, polite, apologetic. Oh, officer, I didn't realize, so sorry, just doing HOA business. He asked for her license and registration, then walked back to his car. I stood there, hands sweating on my vet bag. hoping I'd still make it to Mrs. Henderson's. Then I saw it. Brennan's hand resting on his belt, posture stiffening. "Ma'am, are you aware you have an active warrant?" Diane's face went sheet white. "It's a mistake. I was going to take care of it." Failure to appear. "Franklin County. I'm going to need you to come with me." Diane's voice shot up an octave. "It's just a traffic ticket. You don't need to arrest me." "Ma'am, a warrant is a warrant." She turned, and her eyes, God, the venom, locked on me. "You see what you did? You destroyed everything I worked for." But I didn't say a word. Deputy Brennan led her to the car. No cuffs, not for a traffic ticket, but he did put her in the back seat. By now, the whole neighborhood was out. Meredith stood on her porch, crying. The Westons were huddled with their kids. Mr. Cross, across the street, had his phone out, recording everything. As the car pulled away, I heard someone mutter, "Well, she finally ran into the law for real." I made it to the clinic just in time. The golden retriever survived, barely. But all day, I kept replaying Diane's panicked whisper, "Does he know about it?" and wondered what skeletons were rattling in her closet. When I came home that afternoon, the neighborhood felt different. People actually smiled. Meredith caught me in the driveway. "Declan, honey, you did what we all wanted to do for years." The Westons thanked me for standing up. I told them, honestly, I just needed to get to work. Mr. Cross asked, "Why'd they arrest her?" I kept it simple. Blocked driveway. Sheriff called, found a warrant, probably for a minor ticket. But I left out Diane's odd phone call and the secrets it hinted at. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. That evening, I checked my email, a formal violation notice from the HOA board. Except at the bottom, only Diane's name. She accused me of creating a public disturbance, harassing an HOA officer, misusing emergency services, slapped a $500 fine on me, threatened legal action for repeated violations. The same woman who'd just been arrested was now threatening me over email. As if nothing had happened. I pulled out my copy of the bylaws. Thank God I kept it, and there was nothing in there about calling law enforcement being a violation. No rule about public disturbances. Unless there was criminal activity. She was making stuff up. So, I called Thaddeus, my old college buddy, now a property lawyer. He laughed, said, "She can't fine you for calling the cops, Declan. Save every message. This is textbook retaliation." He told me to screenshot everything, document it all. If she pushes this, you'll have a case that'll make her regret every second of it. That night, I got a text, emergency HOA board meeting. Diane's called it. "You should come." The community center was packed, more people than I'd ever seen at one of these. Diane tried to play queen, insisting I'd created conflict. But Everett, the vice president, cut her off, demanded to hear both sides. When I explained, showed my photo of her Lexus blocking my drive, the room erupted. People started shouting about fines for paint color, lawns, Christmas lights. Everett called for order, then, right there, in front of everyone, put Diane's authority on hold until they could investigate. 4 board members voted yes. Only Diane stayed silent, glaring at everyone like they'd just stabbed her in the back. You could feel the weight lift. People started talking, really talking, about years of being bullied. But it wasn't over. 2 days later, I got a certified letter, another rule update Diane tried to push through, banning residents from calling law enforcement without HOA approval, with threats of $1,000 fines. But it was only signed by Diane, not the board. Thaddeus laughed out loud, told me to save it as evidence of retaliation. I shared the letter in the group chat. Within minutes, my phone blew up. 47 neighbors had gotten the same letter. Some were furious, others defended Diane. The neighborhood split into camps. A few days later, Diane tried to inspect my property with a private inspector named Raymond Blackwell, carrying yet another fake form signed only by her. I refused entry, quoted the bylaws. Told them I'd call the vice president. Raymond bailed, scared of trespassing charges. Diane was left shaking with rage on my sidewalk, warning me I'd regret it. I downloaded the security footage, sent it to the board and Thaddeus. That night, another emergency board meeting. They confronted Diane about acting outside her authority. She blew up, then stormed out, slamming the door. Next thing you know, Everett sent out a notice for a full community meeting, review of HOA management and finances. That Sunday, the place was packed. Everett and Iris, the treasurer, Presented everything. 31 improper fines, $15,000 in HOA funds missing, Diane's signature on all the questionable documents. Diane tried to explain operational expenses, accounting error, but Iris demanded receipts. None appeared. Clifford, a retired accountant, asked, "You spent 15 grand with no documentation?" The room exploded. Everett announced they'd turned everything over to an auditor and the district attorney. Diane quit on the spot, throwing threats over her shoulder as she stormed out. For the first time, people clapped. Not for me, for the hope things might actually change. But Diane wouldn't go quietly. 2 weeks later, a certified letter. She was suing me for defamation, intentional distress, the works. Thaddeus told me not to worry, pure intimidation, a slap suit. But then, late at night, my security cameras caught Diane trespassing, taking pictures, trying my gates. I called 911, stayed inside. The deputy arrived, found her warrant for unpaid fines, arrested her again. This time in front of half the neighborhood. On camera, in tears, Diane admitted she took HOA funds for personal debts. By morning, the video had gone viral. Local news, social media, everyone was talking about our little neighborhood drama. The audit uncovered even more, $35,000 missing, forged signatures, ghost fines. When the trial came, I testified. So did Meredith, the Westons, Everett, Iris. Diane tried to explain it away, but the evidence was everywhere. The jury took 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. 18 months in prison, 3 years probation, full restitution, and banned from HOAs for a decade. Life went back to normal. Actually, better than normal. The HOA was transparent, fair. Fines nearly disappeared. Money went to fixing up the playground, better lighting, and honest-to-God community barbecues. People smiled. Meredith baked me brownies. The Westons invited me to every birthday party. But the best thing? I could park in my own driveway and just live. Months later, Diane sent a letter from prison. No excuses, just a shaky apology. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I'd already moved on. So here's what I learned. You don't have to be a hero to stand up for what's right. You just need to be willing to document, to make the call, to not back down. Even when someone waves a fake rulebook or screams about community standards. Power without accountability is just a bully with a clipboard. And sometimes, all it takes to end that kind of tyranny is for one person to say, no, not today. So if you're out there fighting your own battle with an HOA president, a boss, whoever, remember, you have rights. You have options. Don't be afraid to stand your ground. Because sometimes, all it takes is one person refusing to back down to change everything. And now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to stand up to someone abusing their authority? Do you think I went too far? Too soft? Drop your story or your opinion in the comments below. Let's talk about where the line is, what's fair, what's just, and when enough is enough. And if you made it this far, hit that like button, share your HOA horror stories, and tell me where you're watching from. Because the only way to fix broken systems is together.